Man, I really wanted that to work. And I think it wasn't bad, but I was just a tad too slow to move out of the thermal lens there. Probably should have moved past the enemy instead of away from them. But how to react in these kind of scenarios is always a thing. It's a bit harder to learn. Blade. Railgun. Let's try a railgun. Pretty weak weapon early on. Definitely need some weapon upgrades. I'll go with Amp again. So if Railgun is... we could go with Engineer for our Railgun and use it on allies, for example. I've never played Leviathan, but it doesn't seem like that would be that great of a build with Amp and Railgun, although we could eventually just give up our shield. Don't think I want any of these actually. Let's go Assault. Let's go pure damage. At least the rate of fire on Railgun isn't bad. Well, it's not great either. It's solid. But not much more than that. Volley. That should help our coverage quite a bit. And we can shotgun enemies with this. Especially if I reduce the spread with something like focus fire. Maybe I should pick up Grandeur whenever I see it. Yeah, sure. Let's take Grandeur here. These options though, not as exciting. What's the stats on the Assault? Reduced hull and reduced shields. How do we do our defense? Well, with Amp, probably want to go with hull strength instead. Let's pick that up for now. Targeting may be a thing. Let's see. I haven't picked up targeting a whole lot, but it certainly would help with our spread on the railgun to maybe have a higher chance of these shots actually hitting something. Definitely want magnitude. And probably payload as well. Rapid fire also seems kind of necessary. Firing array. That might not be terrible here. Velocity does make sense as well. Let's take velocity. Heavy caliber. Adds weapon recoil. We have reduced effect of... No, of mobility reducing effects from your weaponry. So that's not quite what this does. Let's get absorption for some better defense, because we are very aggressive ship type here with the assault. Oh, my experience orbs! Oh, cargo train makes up for that. Loss of experience orb to the singularity before. Okay, that's a lot of weapon upgrades. Warpath. Focus fire is definitely something I want. Maybe splinter as well. Let's go with focus fire for now. Calibrate. Snipe definitely makes a lot of sense. Time for the ring. Homing strike. Burst fire? Probably. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Well, this is causing a lot of recoil against the enemy. I'm not used to being able to push this enemy around. Whew. That feels like a powerful shot we have here. Incendiary strike seems like a good idea to pick up. A siege weaponry. Your total rate of fire increases each time you fire consecutively. Total thrust while firing, and you take ramping hull self-damage when you fire your weapon consecutively. You know what? I haven't tried that one out yet, so... That is certainly interesting, but the damage we do to ourselves is significant. We need some kind of self-damage resistance. Mastery. Improved weapon damage, projectile velocity, projectile size, projectile spread, blast radius, and rate of fire. Oh yes. That sounds like a great thing to have. Just makes our weapon better in every aspect. Fusillade. Double space projectiles, adds 1 to it, and blast radius, total projectile damage goes down, spread goes up. Maybe not. I do want regeneration while I'm firing, not while I'm not firing. There we go. That will help. I definitely want armor as well for core shielding, reducing self-damage we take. Blast radius I should probably pick up. There's adaptive armor, force armor. Hull damage resistance. That should also help. Sure, let's finish that off. Does payload. Does also calibrate. That would unlock saturation fire. You know what? Sure. That seems to make a lot of sense. There we go. Damage output is really nice. Rapid reconstruction. Give up our shield for more hull regeneration rate and plating. I think that's what we want here, because that makes the ramping self damage of siege weaponry more manageable. Payload, definitely interested in that. Reduces our rate of fire further but increases our damage. It's a fair deal for me. I also like Adrenal Module. That does make a lot of sense when we take self-damage when firing. Firing array wouldn't be terrible here. Increased projectile damage and blast radius for the central projectile and increased size. But it gives us more projectile spread, so that's the downside. Maybe even Warpath. What else could we be interested in? Actually, improved thrusters wouldn't be bad. Well, get to get past wave 140. Yeah, after 100 things get really crazy. Let's pick up firing array. Whoops. Bye-bye. Ooh. Whew, we're quite low. I need adaptive armor now. Ah. Rebuke, probably don't want that. I don't think I wanna shoot my armor stacks at the enemy. Kinetic boost, definitely not. Stabilization, let's reroll again. Channeling, I'm interested in that. Down goes this boss. Oh. Grandeur again. Yeah. Juggernaut for maximum hull, definitely. And core shielding for self-damage resistance. And some more hull. There was the super mode as well, but I really wanted core shielding for the defensive values. Woof. That enemy is tanky. Down they go. Concentrate a blast. That might make sense. Not relying on blast radius that much. There is saturation fire. Whoa. Let's hope that doesn't kill us. I think we've mostly recovered from that. Oh, that was rough. There we go. Rupture? Maybe. Improved thrusters wouldn't be bad. Our mobility is kind of low. Doesn't really help that much while we're firing our weapon. But every little bit helps. Ooh, I don't wanna stand right where the Celestial spawns. Another singularity? Really? Splinter might make sense. Let's take it. Wave 100 against the Seraph. That was a bit too bold, but well, maybe it was just bold enough. Guidance, lower velocity, lower rate of fire, but higher higher targeting? Probably not. Yeah, this boss is also called Seraph, and it just happens to also be the final boss in this game. The final boss currently implemented. They are planning to add more, but for now, this is the final one. We can't really do a lot of damage. Okay, there we go. While he's using his snipe attack on us. Was worried about that. Help. Ugh, we somehow managed to survive that. Do we want to include Fusilade here? I think it's fine. We have relatively low spread anyways, so... flew right into that. So this gives us better coverage. And more damage on long range thanks to the targeting as well. Dodge the mines. Mouse control. I like the controls with the controller, but I'll definitely try it out with mouse as well. I usually I prefer to play games with the controller if it works very well. Just because it's more comfortable for me. Stabilization. Not for the stabilization necessarily, but for the upgrade on that. Didn't I set that on... B button? Yeah, okay. Now we can... I barely survived that. Oof. Finally down. That enemy was very dangerous. This is what I want. Agility, rotation speed. That seems useful. Ugh. Our crowd control is not exactly fantastic because of the ramp up time we need. So let's take Warpath. That should be good in fights with lots of smaller enemies where we can really get these Warpath stacks going high, and then we have a nice boost to our fire rate without necessarily having to ramp up siege weaponry. A lot of orbs floating around us here. Oof. Yeah. I thought that this was gonna be the end of this run. But it was a good run. I really had fun. First time using siege weaponry effectively. And also the first run using Railgun effectively. So I'm happy with that. Hey John, welcome. Tempest Break. Triggers Tempest Break when your shield breaks, causes your shield to only begin cooldown when it breaks, but it cannot be interrupted. We also unlocked another oh wow, second highest score, not bad.